Hey tankers, and welcome back to World of Tanks with PR154. And this is part 2 of our gameplay review of Charlemagne. That is the Tier 8 premium British heavy tank that is available exclusively in the ranked items store. Now, to access the ranked items store, obviously you need to play ranked battles. You also need to make it into Division 2. So in order to do that, you go to ranked battles, you play your 20 qualifiers, and that might sort of land you in Division 3. If you do really well, you'll probably get in Division 2 by default, in which case straight to the ranked item store. But otherwise you'll end up in Division 3 and you'll need to sort of fight your way up the ranks that way. Now, once you get into the ranked items store, at the end of the day, it's a store, so you'll be exchanging bonds for these tanks. The starting prices are around 2,500 for a Tier 7 heavy tank. Let's go to T45, and that goes all the way up to 20,000 bonds for the Tier 9 American Concept 1B, which was previously the season reward. Now it is redeemable for bonds. In the case of Charlemagne, the sticker price is 15,000 bonds, which in my opinion, it's probably a little bit excessive for what the tank is, but you can discount that. So by completing missions, you can basically get discounts. One of the easy ways to do that is to play, well, easy, relative, is to play a lot of ranked battles where if you place in the top 7, bearing in mind it's a 10v10 engagement, so place in the top 7, win or lose, you'll end up getting progress in that mission, and if you do that up to 100 times, you'll get up to a 5,000 bond discount on the ranked items store. So that's not too bad, and it is incremental. 5,000 bonds is the maximum discount that you can get, and that'll get Charlemagne down to 10,000 bonds if you're brave enough to go through with all that. Which I think as a sticker price, it's probably a bit more civilized for what the tank is. And what it is a bit of a hull-down monster. It's got a fantastic gun mantlet. It basically shrugs off heat rounds. It does have turret weak spots, but of course, engaging at this distance, it's going to be a little bit hard for the enemy to hit those particular turret weak spots. Also has a pike-nosed hull, which also makes it very bouncy, particularly from distance, but close up when the armor starts to normalize a little bit, then that upper frontal plate doesn't serve you quite as well. Also boasts decent mobility, so we're able to get into this the quintessential hull down position of Kharkov quite quickly with 35 kilometers per hour forward speed, and you can enhance that with a turbocharger. That's certainly my number 1 equipment recommendation for this vehicle. Actually, I'd say probably number 2 equipment recommendation. Number 1 would be a gun rammer, because you have 16 seconds of base reload. So, but that's all right. Between a gun rammer and a Brothers in Arms crew, you can get that down to 14.4 seconds, which is a little bit more civilized, but you're still at a bit of a disadvantage compared to the likes of Object 252U Defender. So we're in a bit of a shot trade here against the Progetto 54. We know there's the Rheinmetall Borsig Waffenträger downrange of us as well. It's using the gun that is not the 15 centimeter gun. We can see we're bouncing shots of 490 alpha, but it still has a bit of a reload on it. So we'll take that opportunity to put a shot into the enemy Progetto 54 as it comes around. A quick look at the minimap will reveal, however, we are a little bit isolated. And when you have a long reload, being isolated is just not a good position to be in. So we'll move ourselves out of here. We're not quite sure where that Progetto 54 has gone, but as it turns out, it's tried to come in behind us. And it's come in behind us with a full magazine. There's shot number 1, shot number 2. Now what's happening with shot number 3? Does it even have a shot number 3? Oh no, there it is, and it lands a penetrating hit on shot number 3. Now, unfortunately, with these Aldo reloaders, once they deep dive into their magazine, they tend to lose a lot of damage per minute, which is quite fortunate for us because, like we said, a very long reload on this tank. We've mitigated it as best as we can with a gun rammer and a Brothers in Arms crew, but unfortunately, that it's still too fast for the Progetto 54, having fired all 3 shells from its magazine. The team's otherwise doing quite well. We have an advantage of about 6,000 hit points. So at this point in time, the sensible thing to do, rather than charge headlong into a Rheinmetall Borsig Waffenträger, we will move in and assist with the cleanup operation in town. And that's where all the hit points are going to be. That's where the experience points and damage points are going to be for us to collect. So we managed an opportunistic shot into the back end of the T49. And as we come around the corner, we notice, oh, look at this. Looking through a few of these windows, we see some nice, juicy rear turret facings. So we're lining up on the 50 TP. We'll have you, there we go, 494 alpha damage back in our coffers. And we've got the T30 there as well, who is now a one-shot for us. So aiming very carefully. Unfortunately, the 0.42 meters per 100 meters of gun dispersion lets us down there somewhat, but the turret certainly doesn't. We bounce another shell off the 50 TP. Which appears to have wisened up to our position, so not quite sure if we're going to get another opportunity against it, but here's hoping the T30. We're able to send it back to the garage, but in doing so also cop a shot from the Rheinmetall Borsig Waffenträger with the other than 15 centimeter main gun. That weapon has a reasonable rate of fire, which is going to give it something of an advantage here. The winner of this contest is going to be the one that can get the next shot in. So is it going to be us? Not today. Rheinmetall Borsig Waffenträger sends us back to the garage. So we'll backseat drive someone else. Let's go with the AMX M451, who's pushing in to assist the brawl against the Object 257. But again, the Rheinmetall Borsig Waffenträger is able to come up behind and knock them out. They are having an excellent game there. So the Object 257 cleared out. That just leaves the Waffenträger, but we've had a couple of enterprising friendly vehicles manage to cap this game out. So victory for us. Let's take a look at the results. So for our efforts, we've come away with a level 1 mastery, playing in a Tier 8 and 9 matchup on the streets of Kharkov. In order to do that, we've scored over 3,500 hit points of damage and taken 2 enemy kills. We've bounced a decent amount of damage there. The Progetto 54 accounting for 4 shots of that. The Rheinmetall Borsig with the other than 15 centimeter gun, as we've managed to bounce off nearly 1,000 hit points of incoming abuse from that particular quarter. For our efforts, haven't managed to pick up any battle heroes or epic medals, but we've managed to come away with Bruiser for causing damage to enemy modules at least 5 times in the battle, and of course Fire for effect for doing at least a hit points in damage. Looking at the team scores, we've placed surprisingly well there, but I guess that's predominantly accounted for by just coming away with quite a decent damage score and getting that big 4.7-inch gun into the fight. Now, our previous video, we thought the 119.38mm caliber was oddly specific, but doing a little bit of imperial conversion, 4.7-inch is the caliber of Charlemagne. Looking at the detailed report, because that's always important to do for a premium tank, we've come away with around 80,000 credits for our efforts there, which is about on par with what we were doing with an Ace Mastery game in a 7-8 matchup. So it's nice to see that for that sort of credit return is what you can expect on a good game in the Charlemagne. So that's it for us. If you are not catching this video from our Wix article, please do check it out. We do a much more detailed technical overview. This was sort of more of a gameplay overview, so the technical review will be really helpful. We talk a lot more about the armor layout and how to equip and how to counter Charlemagne as well. And we go into a bit more detail about how to obtain the vehicle through the ranked battles system. And if you'd like to see one of your replays featured on World of Tanks with PR154, please give us a shout over Discord or any of the links below, and we'll do our best to sort you out. In the meantime, take care out there.